Hello friends, welcome again to the tetrahedron chemistry classes. So guys, if you remember in my last lecture, that is yesterday, I have discussed the basic rule of your phase equilibria and the different terminology which are used in the explanation of any phase diagram, like degrees of freedom, number of phases, components, phase rule, mathematical expression and the calculations of degrees of freedom. All these things I have discussed yesterday. Okay. So, today I am going to discuss another very important aspect about your phase diagram, and that is your water system. So, this the picture which actually you are seeing on this screen, this is actually the water system, right, graph of water, graph for water system. Okay. And if you focus on this particular graph, then you can see on the y axis, say this is your y axis. So, on the y axis you are having the vapor pressure. Okay. On the y axis you are having the vapor pressure, right, and on the x axis you are having temperature. So, since y axis is having your pressure and your x axis is having temperature, so these phase diagrams are generally your PT curve or PT diagram, right, pressure temperature diagram. Okay. So, now I will explain each and everything which is there in this particular graph, and this would be very helpful in for your basic understanding to solve the problems for your of your competitive examinations. Okay. So, how actually we can explain this, right? It's quite simple. First of all, you observe this center, right? This is the center part, and I'll start this actually water system graph with this point actually. Okay. So, this point which you are observing is known as the triple point. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of the triple point? It simply means it will have three phases, right? Triple point will have the three phases. So, that those phases would be your water in the form of the solid ice in equilibrium with again water in the liquid state, and again you are say water in the vapor state. So, these three phases at triple point, they are in equilibrium. Okay. And if you want to calculate the degrees of freedom for this one, so F equals to C minus P plus 2. Since it is a water system, pure water is there, so only one component, because the formula is H2O, whether it is your solid ice or liquid water or your water vapor, chemical formula would remain same. So, the component is 1, and phases, three phases are there in that case, and plus 2 is already there in the formula, that will give you the 0. That means at triple point the degrees of freedom of this system is 0. What is the meaning of that? The meaning of this 0 degrees of freedom is that you cannot actually vary any of anything actually. You need to specify the temperature, you need to specify the pressure. Okay. And to explain the triple point, you cannot change, you cannot vary either temperature or the pressure. Okay. If you vary any one of these, say I am giving the example, if you vary the temperature, right. So, if you move in this particular direction, say for example, if you move here and you are reaching somewhere here, okay, and corresponding to this, if you check here, so triple point has gone now. So, you cannot increase temperature, you cannot vary temperature. Okay. Similarly, this axis actually, you see here, this axis is for the pressure axis. Now, from here if you increase the pressure, so on increasing the pressure, let us say you are reaching somewhere here. So, if you are reaching somewhere here on increasing the pressure, say at this pressure you are reaching somewhere here. So, again one phase will gone from here. So, it is something very important to note that at triple point degrees of freedoms are 0, and since the degrees of freedom are 0, that means system is invariant. System is invariant. That means you cannot vary any of the parameter. If you vary any of the parameter like temperature or the pressure, then one phase from there actually would gone now. Okay. And the important thing is that, and this question is generally asked in the various examination, right. What is the temperature and the pressure for this triple point? So, if you extend this line here for this triple point, right. So, the temperature is what? 0.007 degree centigrade. So, this is the temperature at which the three phases solid ice, liquid water and water vapor actually are in equilibrium. And if you extend this value on the y axis, then you will reach somewhere here. So, it will give you the 4.5 mm of the pressure. So, at triple point the temperature or pressure have the fixed value, you cannot vary anything. If you vary any one of them, then definitely one of the phase would gone. Okay. So, this is the concept of the triple point, and at the triple point, you know. So, temperature at the triple point, I can write T here, 0.0075 degree centigrade. Okay. And pressure at this triple point would be 4.58 mm, and it is these two are the fixed value, you cannot vary any one of them. Okay. So, this is the triple point. This is something very, very important. Now, if you understood the triple point, now I can take the different graphs. You see this actually graph is having the three curves. First curve is your OA curve, right. Second curve is your OB curve, and third curve is your OC curve. So, one by one I will discuss all these curves. Okay. So, first of all, I am discussing your curve OA. So, what is the meaning of the curve OA? Please see here. See, all along this curve, right? All along this curve, since at this triple point you are having the three phases. If you increase the temperature, definitely your one phase would gone from here, and the phase would gone on increasing the temperature automatically would be ice. Okay. So, on the curve OA, you will have only two phases, and those two phases would be your liquid water and your water vapor. Okay. So, here I am writing curve OA, or the line OA you can see, and this line actually, this curve is known as the vaporization curve. Why it is known as the vaporization curve? Because liquid water undergoes the vaporization frequently, right, and you will have the vapors in that case along with the liquid water. So, these two things would be there. So, in that case the equilibrium would be like that. You will have H2O in the liquid phase and your H2O in the vapor phase. So, gas I am writing. So, two phases are there in that case. So, whenever you are having the two phases, then you can apply your phase rule to calculate the degrees of freedom. F equals to C minus P plus 2. Okay. Here in that case C is 1, component is 1, only water is there, two phases are there, and plus 2 is already there. So, if you calculate the degrees of freedom in that case, so it will result the 1. Okay. In that case, all along this curve, you can select any of the point, all along this vaporization curve, the degrees of freedom is 1. So, what is the meaning of that? The degrees of freedom is 1. The simple meaning is that, right, if you specify the temperature, let us say I have specified this particular temperature. Okay, I have specified this particular temperature. Once I have specified this temperature, and if I extend this line over just like that and meeting at this particular point, so it will have only one vapor pressure value or the pressure value. So, you do not need to actually explain or say specified the two actually parameters or two variables like temperature or the pressure. You need only one. Either you can actually explain this temperature, this will correspond to the particular pressure value, or vice versa. If you explain one pressure value, it will explain the one temperature value all along the curve, right. All along the curve you select any point and you select any temperature or the pressure, this will automatically give you the other parameter. Okay, and this is known as the vaporization curve. And the important thing is that at the vaporization curve, which you can notice here, this temperature which is actually your 100 degree centigrade. Okay, and at this 100 degree centigrade, the you see the vapor pressure is somewhere around 1 atmospheric pressure. So, this actually should be like that here, right? This is the value actually. Similarly, this value for this one and this value for this one. Okay. So, in that case you can easily see at 100 degrees centigrade liquid water is having the vapor pressure which is equal to the 1 atmospheric pressure, and you know the 1 atmospheric pressure is the 1 atmospheric pressure is the atmospheric pressure generally. Okay. And it is actually the boiling point. So, what is the definition of the boiling point? The temperature at which the vapor pressure of the liquid becomes equal to the atmospheric pressure is known as the boiling point. So, in this particular diagram you can easily see that at 100 degree centigrade that vapor pressure actually is equal to the 1 atmospheric pressure. Remember, this line actually belongs to the vapor pressure, not the atmospheric pressure, but it belongs to the vapor pressure. So, this vapor pressure at 100 degree centigrade is equal to the 1 atmospheric pressure. That means this point is actually the boiling point of your water. Okay. So, this is the explanation for this particular curve. I hope there is no problem in that. Okay. And then see, after that what you can see here, if you reach this particular point here, this point is known as the critical temperature. Okay. And this if you extend this line just like that, so you are having that particular point A, and if you extend this line on the y axis, then you are having this value. Okay. So, this 374 degree centigrade is the critical temperature, and corresponding to this critical temperature on the y axis is your critical pressure. So, now what is the meaning of the critical temperature and the critical pressure, right? See, at this point actually, see, up to from 0 to A, you will have the two phases over there, liquid water as I have explained here, and your water vapor. But if you go beyond this A, if you increase the temperature from 370 beyond 374 degrees centigrade, okay, that means in that case one phase again would disappear, and that phase the phase which would be disappear from here would be the liquid water. That means above this point, if you check here only you will have the vapors, water vapors, and this have a very significant role in actually the separation technique, right? This is something very, very important. So, at this, see, if you at this stage, right, if I mark this as, so these vapor basically from here, if water is there, water vapors are there, this is known as actually the supercritical fluid. This is supercritical fluid. Okay. So, see, for this is actually water system. For any system, if you heat the system above the critical temperature, then you will have only the vapor phase, and that phase is known as actually the supercritical fluid, right? This is known as the supercritical fluid. So, what is the meaning of the supercritical fluid? See guys, it is something very, very important. See now what is the meaning of that? See, you are having supercritical fluid here, okay, above this 374 degree centigrade. Now, if you apply the pressure on this particular system, okay, above the critical temperature, remember, so what will happen? The more dense fluid actually will be obtained. The more denser fluid will be obtained, okay, and that denser fluid actually would be your gas like phase, clear, and it would be as dense as your normal liquid. So, density of this vapor phase would be actually equal to the density of the liquid itself. Okay, this is something very, very important, and this is the supercritical fluid. And if you want to know the application, see, see, we will study, see, I will not see that carbon dioxide diagram here because it is not there in the BTech syllabus. So, I am not going to cover that part, but I am telling you in the carbon dioxide CO2 phase diagram, supercritical carbon dioxide is also there. There is a critical temperature for your carbon dioxide, and if you actually go for the this supercritical carbon dioxide, right, this supercritical carbon dioxide is used to extract the caffeine in the manufacture of the decaffeinated coffee. Okay, and the advantage is that why we are using this supercritical fluid, though we have the organic techniques or the organic solvent to separate these things. Okay, but remember, when you use the organic solvent, then organic solvent sometimes actually may result in into the toxic residue, and sometimes you see that the taste of the drink actually, whether it is decaffeinated coffee or any other thing, actually would be displeasure, or say actually the taste actually becomes very displeasure due to the presence of the organic solvents. So, instead of using the organic solvents, you can use this supercritical fluid. A carbon dioxide is actually successfully used to separate your actually decaffeinated, what I told you, the application caffeine actually, right, in the to extract the decaffeinated coffee in the manufacture, right. So, this is something very important. So, however, this is not included in the water system, but you may say that the supercritical carbon dioxide is used to extract the caffeine in the manufacture of the decaffeinated coffee. Okay, advantage I already told you, but this is not related to the water system. This is just for your knowledge actually. Okay, now what we can do, I can erase this thing. Okay, so there is no problem in that. This I have explained. All along the curve you will find the two phases, and whenever you are having the two phases, so the degrees of the freedom is 1, and at the triple point, no system is the invariant, because 0 degrees of freedom, because you cannot vary anything. So this is the curve OA. I hope there is no problem in that. Or if you want to calculate the certain things, right, what is the change in the pressure, what is the effect of the pressure or the effect of the temperature on this actually vapor pressure curve. So for this you will use the Clausius-Clapeyron equation. So I am not going to discuss the Clausius-Clapeyron equation right now in that case, but I will see later in some other lecture. I will derive that Clausius-Clapeyron equation, and will also solve some of the problems which has been asked in the previous CSIR NET GATE as well as in the IIT JAM examination. Okay, but right now I am not giving that Clausius-Clapeyron equation, which comes from the thermodynamics actually. Right. I hope there is no problem in explaining this particular graph. Okay. Now I am going to explain your another graph, that is the OB, which is this one, right. So again you see this is the triple point, and see in the earlier case, if you increase the temperature in the curve OA, so you lost actually one phase, and that phase was the solid ice, and all along the curve you were having only two phases, liquid water and the water vapor. But now again if you go back actually to this curve OB actually, so that means you are decreasing the temperature. Definitely when three phases are there, and when the three phases are there, and if you decrease the temperature, one phase actually would disappear from it. One phase would be disappear from there, and you know actually below the freezing point, the phase which would be disappear, that would be liquid water. So remember, I am writing here OA was having two phases, liquid water and water vapor, and your curve OB, since you are decreasing the temperature, definitely the liquid water will gone from here. So you will have the two phases, solid ice in equilibrium with the water vapor. Okay. So all along this curve you are having the two phases only. So whenever you are having the two phases all along the curve OB, so you can calculate the degrees of freedom, that is equals to F equals to C minus P plus 2. Component is actually 1, phases are 2 is already there, that means this will give you 1. Again the system is univariant. See, in that case also degrees of freedom was 1, and in that case of your curve OB, degrees of freedom is 1. Again, what is the meaning of that? The meaning is simply the same actually which I have explained for the vaporization curve. Okay. So before going to the other things actually, let me tell you the name of this curve OB actually. So this curve OB I am writing here, this curve OB is actually your sublimation curve. Sublimation curve. Okay. Why sublimation curve? You know the process of the sublimation, when solid actually converts into the vapors without passing in the liquid phase actually. So, liquid phase is not there. So, this curve actually is your sublimation curve. Okay. So, this is your sublimation curve, and on this sublimation curve you are having the two phases, solid and the gas. Degrees of freedom is 1. What is the meaning of that? If you select any temperature, right here, if you select any temperature, so this will correspond to the one temperature only. So, you need to actually specify, you need to vary only one thing, either temperature. If you vary the temperature, correspondingly your pressure will also vary. If you, or vice versa, if you vary the pressure, correspondingly your temperature will also vary. So, you need to specify only one parameter, either your temperature or the pressure. That is why the degrees of freedom is 1 in that case. Okay. So, this is something very, very important. And again in that case, if you want to know, the some changes in the pressure and the temperature and some other things actually, like the volume and all other things. So, in that case also you can use the Clausius-Clapeyron equation, but I am not going to use that equation again here actually. So, I hope there is no problem in that. Okay. And one more thing, one very important thing which you can see here at this temperature, right, this temperature. So, I can write it as, this is 0 degree, right, this point is the 0 degree, and that 0 degree if you touch here, okay, if you come here, it correspond to the 1 atmospheric pressure. That 0 degree centigrade corresponding to the 1 atmospheric pressure at certain point, and that point is this one. Okay, that point is this one. Okay. So, what is the meaning of that? The meaning of that is, this is the freezing point of the water. This is the freezing point of the water. Okay. So, now I have explained the two things, the curve OA, the vaporization curve, and the curve OB, that means the sublimation curve. Okay. These two things I have explained. So, let me tell you again the important thing. See this OB curve, I am repeating the thing actually. Okay. So, the curve OB represent the equilibrium between the ice and the vapor. Okay. And this is the sublimation curve. Okay. And see the lower end is this, which is B. Okay. And it is somewhere around up to absolute 0 actually. Okay. Its lower end B actually can be extended to the absolute 0. This is something very, very important. Okay. You should remember. And again the degrees of freedom is 1. I hope there is no problem in that. Okay. Now, let me remove all the things. Now, finally, what you left with actually? Now, you left with this particular graph, right, this one, this is the curve OC. So, now I am going to explain the curve OC, right. See, again you see in the curve OA, you are having the liquid water along with the water vapor, and along the curve OB, you are having the equilibrium between the solid ice and the vapor or the gas. Now, along the curve OC, what you will have? Okay, definitely in that case is liquid and gas is there, solid and gas is there. So, this actually, this curve OC is basically your fusion curve. This is known as the fusion curve. So, this curve actually is known as the fusion curve. And you know what is the meaning of the fusion? Fusion is simply melting. Fusion is simply melting, and you know what happens at the melting point? You will have the solid in equilibrium with the liquid. So, at the curve OC, you will have solid ice in equilibrium with the liquid. So, these three things are very, very important. Now, if you want to calculate the degrees of freedom, so again F equals to C minus P plus 2, that is equals to 1 minus component is 1, right, phases are 2, this is 2 again it is 1. So, again the system is the univariant. So, one thing is quite clear, whether you follow the curve OA, you follow the curve OB, you follow the curve OC, in all the cases two phases are there, and when the two phases are there for the single component system, mathematically the degrees of freedom are only 1. Again the same thing you can say here, you need to specify any one thing, either you actually either you can specify temperature, this will give you the corresponding pressure, and if you specify the pressure, this will give you the corresponding temperature. This is something very, very important. Again, to see the effects of the change of the temperature and the pressure, you can follow the Clausius-Clapeyron equation. So, generally you can call it as the fusion curve actually. This is something very, very important. Okay. I hope there is no problem in that, in understanding all the three things. Okay. And you see here, now what I can do actually. So, let me remove something from here. I am removing this. Okay. So, whatever I have explained so far, I have explained the lines actually. Okay. Now, the regions actually, what are these regions actually? So, to explain those regions, I am giving you a point here. Say, for example, okay, what I can do, I can select this point here. I can select this point here. There is no problem in that. Okay. And once I selected this particular point, so what actually I am going to explain this. This is very, very important. Okay. So, in that case, you see, at this particular point, if I fix the temperature, say let us say I have fixed the temperature at this value and I increased the temperature, sorry, I increased the pressure. Okay. So, say let us say this point is x, and at this point x I have fixed the temperature and I am increasing the pressure. So, when you increase the pressure, definitely, so you will move in this region, in this particular region. Okay. And what happens, you see, you know, whenever you are having the two phases, right, you are having, say, your gas in equilibrium with the liquid. Since temperature is the constant and you are increasing the pressure on the gas, so what will happen? It will compressed, and it will become liquid. Okay. So, that means gas becomes liquid. So, simple meaning is that this curve is having the two phases, liquid and your gas, but on keeping the temperature fixed, increasing the pressure, you actually, what you are doing, you are liquefying your gas. So, you will have the liquid. So, that means at this position you are having the liquid. So, this area actually is having the liquid. Okay. Or you can say, since the degrees of freedom is 1 in that case, so you need to see, you can go in the other way also. What you can do, you fix the you fix the pressure in that case. Okay. You fix the pressure and now decrease the temperature. Fix the pressure, now decrease the temperature. Say somewhere you have came somewhere here, so you have decreasing the temperature. So, when you are decreasing the temperature, so what happens actually? So, your gas actually again would condense and it will give you the liquid. So, whether you actually you can do two things. You can fix the temperature, increase the pressure, this will give you the liquid. You can fix the pressure, you can decrease the temperature, then you will also have the liquid. So, that means this region, this all region, let me color it first. This all region is having only one phase, and that phase would be what? Liquid water. That phase would have the liquid water. Okay. And if you want to know the degrees of freedom in that case, that means F equals to C minus P plus 2, component is 1, phase is 1, degrees of freedom 2, okay. Sorry, the numeric value is 2, and that will give you the value of the 2. That means all along this region actually, right, this area, you are having 2 degrees of freedom. That means you need to specify, you need to say, if you are coming here, right, say for example, say let me delete it first. Okay. I hope this you have understood this thing. Now, since I have calculated the 2 degrees of freedom in this region, okay. So, what is the meaning of that? Let us say I have selected this point. So, what is there at this point actually? Okay. What would be the vapor pressure in that case? So, you will come here actually, and this vapor pressure actually will correspond to this particular temperature. Now, if I come here actually, again you need to specify the new pressure and new temperature. So, both things actually you require, you need to require actually specify in this particular region. So, this actually this area belongs to the liquid actually. Okay. I hope this is clear, there is no problem in that. Now again the same thing what we can do here. Okay. Now say first of all I am deleting this. Now say in the curve OB, this is your curve OB, you select one point. Say for example, I can select this point. Say I have selected this point, right. Now you see here what you do, you actually fix the temperature, and decrease the pressure. Okay, you are decreasing the pressure in that case. You are fixing the temperature and decreasing the pressure. So what will happen in that case? Definitely in that case one actually form will disappear, and that form would be your solid ice. Okay. So when solid ice will remove from here, and see, since all along this curve what you are having all along this OB, you are having this solid and the gas. Okay. And what you are doing, you are fixing the temperature and you are decreasing the pressure, right. And when you are decreasing the pressure, what will happen actually? So you are converting that the solid into the vapor. So this area actually, this particular area, this belongs to the another phase, and that phase would be your vapor phase. And earlier you have seen this was this region is for liquid water, and since this is for water vapor, so this will automatically belong to the solid ice. So this is something very, very important. You can actually write this trick, which is known as the SLV, and it is very easy to remember the SLV, and you move the clockwise direction. Okay, SLV and clockwise direction. So S stands for the solid, L stands for the liquid, V stands for the vapor. Okay. So what I can do actually, let me tell you one more thing actually, right. So how actually I can explain all the things actually, right. Say in that case what I have said to you for this particular region, for this system, right, OB, for this system you have selected one actually point. I have told you this one. Okay. And if you increase the temperature, right, first of all I have explained for this pressure. Now you fix this pressure. Now increase the temperature. So when you increase the temperature, then definitely on increasing the temperature you lost actually your solid ice, and this will convert into the vapor phase. That's why either the application of the pressure or the application of the temperature, you are having the vapor phase in that case. So in the simple word, what it is saying that in the solid vapor equilibrium curve, this OB curve actually, right, if it is subjected to the if it is subjected to the increase in the temperature and constant pressure, or you can decrease the pressure at the constant temperature, okay, it will change completely into the vapor phase. So you are having the vapor all along this curve. Okay. If you understood all these two things, so there is no need to explain this thing, but my duty is that I have to explain this thing. So again I am explaining this curve OC. So let me remove this thing from here. Okay, now I am going for this curve OC, which is the fusion curve or simply the melting curve. When it is the melting curve, that means it is having the two phases, and those two phases would be liquid and your solid. Okay. Now the important thing is that you are having solid and the liquid. Now what you do actually, say you have selected this point, and now you are keeping the temperature constant. Okay, and you are increasing the pressure. And you know, whenever you are having any solid and you are increasing the pressure on it, okay, on the liquid you are increasing the pressure, so it will compress, and when it will compress, that means it will solidify. Okay, or vice versa, you can go in the other way also. You are fixing the pressure here, and you are decreasing the temperature. Here you are decreasing the temperature, and if you are decreasing the temperature, it simply means your liquid will actually freeze and this region would belong to the solid phase. So, again when it is belongs to the solid phase, f equals to c minus p plus 2, that means 1 plus 1 minus 1 plus 2, that means 2. Okay. So, all along the region, whether it is your region S, degrees of freedom 2, your region L, it is having the degrees of freedom 2, and your region V, it is having the degrees of freedom 2, and all along the curves you are having the 2 phases, degrees of freedom 1 in that case. I hope this makes the sense and you understood the things completely. There is no problem in that. I hope you understood the thing completely. Okay. Now, what left in this particular plot, right? What left in this particular plot? I am going to explain this one. So, let me remove all these things first. Let me remove all these things. Okay, I have removed all these things. Now, you can observe here this line, which is the dashed line, this dashed line, which is curve OA dash. Now, I am going to explain this curve OA dash. So, to explain the curve OA dash, I need some space. So, I am removing all these things. I am removing all these things. Okay. Now, I am going to explain the curve OA dash, and this curve OA dash is known as the metastable equilibrium. Metastable equilibrium. Okay. Or what is the meaning of the metastable equilibrium? It is not fully stable. So, what is the meaning of that? See carefully. See, at this triple point we are having the 3 phases, okay, liquid, solid and vapor. Now, if you see this curve line OB, which was the sublimation curve, over there you are having the OA dash. What it indicates? That it is possible for us, for any liquid, but since we are discussing water system in that case, so I am focusing on the water, but for any liquid, remember it is for any liquid, it is possible for us to cool, to cool the liquid very carefully without the crystallization of the ice, having the liquid only. So, this on this line OA dash, on this line OA dash, you are having only one phase, which is the liquid water, and that liquid water is so cooled, so it is known as the supercooled water or any liquid. Okay. But see carefully, what you can do, you can carefully decrease the temperature, but remember for this actually supercooled stage of the water, you must have the 100% pure water, ion free water, 100% pure water. So, for 100% pure water, it is possible to cool that temperature, to cool that water below its freezing point without the crystallization of the ice. Okay. But the water should be 100% pure. Okay. This is known as the metastable equilibrium. Why metastable equilibrium? Say, let me give you an example. Say, this is your supercooled water. Okay. Say, this is your supercooled water. Supercooled water. This is metastable, and of course, your water would be 100% pure in that case. So, why it is the metastable equilibrium? If you tap with this along with your finger, okay, if you tap it, okay, with your finger or with your hand, or say with your glass rod, if you hit it, very gentle hit, right, you can tap along, you can tap with the glass rod. So, the moment you tap it, immediately the crystallization of the ice would occur into it. Or if you are not tapping, if you are adding some dust particle to it, immediately it will crystallize. Okay. That means the system is not fully stable. That is why it is known as the metastable system or the metastable curve. Okay. So, this is actually your metastable curve. So, listen carefully, this metastable curve I am going to explain once again for you. right? Sometimes it is possible for us with very due care for the 100% of the pure water to cool the water below its the freezing point without the crystallization or the separation of the ice. Okay, at this stage water is said to be the super cooled water, and you can keep that system indefinitely, right, without the separation of the ice. Okay, but it should be you should be very careful. The moment you tap it or the moment you add some impurity into it, your ice will readily crystallize. Okay, so this is all about your your water system. Okay, so what we have learned in that case, I have explained all the things. This graph I have explained, this curve I have explained OB, and this OA dash I have explained, and this OC I have explained. But I missed a very important point here. You see here, this line OC is actually inclined towards the it is inclined towards the y axis. You are observing this. This is actually, see, from here, if you come from here to here, so it is inclining towards the y axis. Remember, it is inclining towards the y axis. What is the meaning of that? The simple meaning is that if you increase the pressure, so the melting points actually gets lowered. If you increase the pressure, the melting point gets lowered, and you should be very careful about that. This is something very important for the fusion, for this fusion curve. Okay, and see, if you go through the book, actually any book, then this point may be there actually, right? In Puri Sharma Pathania, I'm sure that this point is given. That means what would be the application of your pressure. So in that case, you are having what, liquid and solid. So if you increase the pressure, right, so say first of all, this corresponding to this temperature, and you are increasing the pressure, so this corresponding to the this temperature. If you come here, this corresponding to the this temperature. What is the meaning of that? See, if you increase the pressure, okay, so the freezing point actually decreases. This is something very important, and reverses happen in the other case actually. Okay, so this point actually you should remember. This point is very important. I hope actually you understood the things completely, and remember guys, this actually water system forms the basis for your other system. So you should be very sure about the concept used in the water system actually. Okay, so I hope you understood the thing. So that's it for today guys. If you understood the things completely, and if you like the lecture, please subscribe the Tetrahedron Chemistry classes and do share with your friends also. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you very much.